What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Monkey Cave. So we're in the process of just doing the final few details in this engine bay right here. Then we're gonna clean everything up, wipe it down, and then close this hood up for good. So a couple of little details that I addressed before we do the finalization in this engine bay is I had to mount this evap system right here. This thing was broke off and there was just chunks of it laying in there. I made a sweet little mount right here for this, and then I mounted the components up here on the OOP filter and the oil cooler. I went ahead and wiped everything down. And I also made a little mount right here, which I'm going to tell you guys about in a few minutes, for the intake system so that it is nice and firm. It doesn't really move anywhere. So we got a lot of work still because I want to work on the back of this truck. I'm going to try and start it here in a few minutes, make sure she runs. Then try to turn it around so that I can put the back end right here where I need it. So come on, you guys, let's get right into it. All right, you guys, continuing on with this Sport Trac project, and we're just buttoning up the front end, which means we're kind of dealing with the details. The devil is in the details, and that's the part that a lot of people tend to omit, or they want to deal with that later or whatever, so they'll just kind of stuff things in holes or whatever, and they cause problems later on down the line. So when you get to the little more professional level, you want to address some of those details. And I'm going to share with you guys a little trick here that's really cool. I learned it working in ODR Roy's shop, and I know some of the higher end shops use this trick. And it's just a bit of class, like the hose clamps that I talked about last time, right? And so what we do is we use a tube that's a little bit larger than the tube I'm mounting to make like a modular sleeve. That way I can make a tab that holds off that's not actually welded to the tab or to the tube or whatever. I use a hose clamp to affix it. We've done that for bedsides. We do it for little tabs that are going to hold hoses and things like that. So right now I'm just securing the intake that I made in the last episode. It's fairly secure, and I've got some other tabs holding it, but the actual soft part of the line moves quite a bit, so I want to stop that. So basically what I've done is I've taken a tube that is a little bit larger than the tube that holds the core support, and I machine out a groove in that tube, okay? And in doing so, you give yourself a place for where your hose clamp fits. So you'll want to mark it out. Okay, you'll want to mark it out, and then you can chuck it up in the lathe, and then you just machine out a groove. And like a 120 wall tube, you've got a lot of meat there because it's just a light duty tab. It's not a structural spot. And then you just kind of clean that up. You can cut it in half, and now I have something that can basically be hose clamped onto a tube with a tab hanging off to secure whatever I want to secure. All right, you guys, so that pretty much finishes up that portion of the build. And just a little professional note for you guys, the amateur builder or whatever, if you're doing something for somebody else, you don't want to just finish up your task and then give that customer back their project. Take the time to clean up the area you were working in and make it so that when they receive what you have done for them, it looks better in the entire area than it did when you started. You kind of clean up after yourself and address any deficiencies you might see while you're there. Not only will your customer appreciate it, but that's a touch of professionalism that you add to your repertoire as a builder. For the front of this truck. It's all cleaned up. Let's close it up for the last time. And then we're gonna hop in and see if she'll start.